Hey guys, it's Rob, and I've got this little Eflite Ultra Micro MiG-15 that I've been flying. I've probably got about 30 flights on it now, and yeah, it's a great little aircraft. It's got the new AS3X stabilisation system, which I was a bit sceptical at first, but flying it yesterday in some really strong winds, I'm now convinced that it is much better. It does give the aircraft a lot of stability in strong and gusty wind conditions. The other thing about it I've noticed is that it's a little bit like a helicopter. When you first plug in the battery, you just have to keep it still for a few seconds until it initialises. If you're moving the aeroplane around, it can actually initialise out of trim, and it puzzled me a little bit at first because every time I was flying it I had to re-trim, but then I realised it's the AS3X system. You just have to treat it like a helicopter, hold it still, and it's been fine ever since. So let me give it a fly, and I'm using the 180 milliamp hour batteries from Hobbyking, which are not too bad. They're a little bit lighter. They give it a slightly less nose forward centre of gravity, which makes it really nice to loop, but they're probably down about 10% in power compared to the standard battery that comes with this, which is a 200 milliamp hour Eflite. Another thing I really like about it is it's DSMX, which is a new protocol, and it also has telemetry. So if you're using a DX7S, something like that, you can see this little mark in the left hand side. That's the telemetry, and it doesn't give you much information, but it'll give you the F and the H is the fades and the holds, which will tell you if your receiver's actually gone out of range. But never really have a problem with that with this aeroplane. Anyway, that's enough talking, let's give it a fly. There it is, nicely in trim. And it's just such a little beauty to fly. Really, really smooth and stable. Not super fast, but fast enough to be interesting. Okay, loops nice and straight. And one thing I really like about this aeroplane is it has differential ailerons built in, which means the up-moving aileron moves a lot more than the down-going aileron, which is actually a good design feature that is present in real aircraft as well. But look how nice and stable it is. And today's probably the calmest wind conditions I've flown in with this little aircraft, and it's just wonderful. I've actually got two of these. I've got one in Perth and one in Sydney. I'm in Sydney at the moment. I bought the one in Perth first, and I left it at my friend Jason's house, and I just couldn't be without one, so I bought another one for Sydney. It's very manoeuvrable. Doesn't really have any handling vices. Even full back elevator, that's full up elevator, and it just goes around. It's got a little bit of a wing drop tendency, but virtually insignificant. Enough power to just go straight into a loop from level flight, and just fun. Just fun. It's flying brilliantly. The only issue I think I've had with it, which is really not a fault of the aircraft, is about the 6th flight yesterday, it ingested a large insect while flying, and I heard the pop, and ever since then the fan's been a little bit noisier, but otherwise it doesn't really seem to affect it. It flies just the same. It's probably about 30% noisier now than it was when I first bought it, but it's still flying like a little rocket ship. Watch out for the sun. Look at that, how much fun is that? But like I said, this is the Turnigy Nanotech 180 milliamp hour battery. The next flight I'll use the Eflite 200 milliamp, which I think just has a little bit more power. Okay, it's starting to pulse a little bit there. I don't know if you can hear that on the video, but that's a sign that the battery's starting to lose voltage, and it sort of coincides with the timer on the radio. But it glides really well, power off, and it's just a piece of cake to land. Thanks for watching.